Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sisterhood TV. And my name is Angie Langley, for those of you who don't know who I am. And are you in your feminine energy? Do you know what that is? Last week, if you missed it, put hashtag replay in the comments and I will get you the replay for last week because we were talking about our masculine energy. Okay. And no, it doesn't mean you're going to be a man or you're going to turn into a man or anything like that. It's just the energies that we have. You know, our energies are balanced. We have two energies in our body, and so we'll go over that. So, do you guys remember? All right, my little board here. Okay. So, hi guys, how are you today? There's a link above that says StreamYard for Facebook. So if you can click on that and then come on back, that way I can see who's here and who's commenting. So our masculine energy. So today we're in our feminine energy. Okay. So this is us. I know she's a little peaked. I think she's hungry. She hasn't had her supper yet. Let's give her some curly hair. There we go. There. How's that? Okay. Now this is us. Okay. And our energy is, all right. How do I? Okay. There is our masculine energy and there's our feminine energy. Okay. Now our masculine energy was about, do you remember? You know, he was our protector. Okay. He's the doer. He is he's generous, right? Yeah. He is clearly focused, right? Right. So if you want something done, this masculine sign, he's the action taker. He is going to do it for us. Okay. But when we're too much of in our masculine, right? So if you guys want the replay for that, put hashtag replay and I can give that to you too. Okay. And this replay too. Okay. But this is our feminine. Now, what are some feminine traits? Oh, you guys can't see that very well, can you? Ah, there we go. You see my hand scratching? Yeah. So what are some feminine traits that we may have, right? We are compassionate, right? This is going to be short and sweet. So, yeah, compassionate. We're caring, empathetic, right? Empathetic. Right? And because you guys know, when you're totally in your feminine energy, you just know what people are really authentic or not, right? I tell people nurturing, exactly. You know, I tell people I'm a human lie detector, right? You can't lie to me. So you're very empathetic. Tony's a nurturing, right? Yeah. Nurturing. And she's also very magnetic. Okay. Now, picture yourself or picture Cleopatra. You remember Cleopatra in Egypt? She was a ruler and, you know, she sat in her, I don't even know what they call now, but, you know, she sat in her, was it a pandola or something like that? I don't know. But she had men servants, you know, and they were waiting on her and they were waiting on her beck and call, right? Anything she wanted, she got, right? So this is how your feminine energy, this is how I associate your feminine energy as Cleopatra, right? So anything you want, you get. You know, your self-worth, right? Self-worth is on point, right? Because you really don't give a shit about what people think or say about you. You know, that is a whole level of freedom right there. Right? It's an amazing feeling, right? Because you're not worried about, oh my God, what are people going to say? What are they going to do? What if I look funny, or, I burp in front of people, or, we're always worried about people judging us, right? But when we have our self-worth, we don't care, right? Because they're no better than we are, right? And we are us. We are who we are meant to be, right? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So we did pretty good on that, right? Yeah. So next week I'm going to go and we're going to learn about how to balance them. Okay. And why is it so important to have them balanced? Okay. So your feminine energy, you just know what it feels like to be vulnerable, right? I couldn't come out here and do this and tell people about my past and about my life if I wasn't vulnerable, right? I was telling a woman today, and yesterday I had a meeting with a client, and I told her. She goes, "How did you get into this? How did you know how to do this?" And I told her my past. I said I had a very traumatic childhood, and my life hasn't been all that great, right? And it's been very stressful, and I've been through a lot, so I know what it's like to hit rock bottom and climbing back up, right? So yeah, so you have to be vulnerable when you're in your feminine energy. You can easily, the human lie detector, right? You can just know when people are lying to you and they're not really truthful, can't you? Yeah. Can you guys feel that sometimes? Yeah. Your creativity is totally enhanced, right? You can being creative can manifest everything that you want in all areas of your life, right? So you want more money, you're going to create a way to make more money coming in, right? A lot of women are very creative, even men are, right? So we both have masculine and feminine energies, both men and women do, right? So yeah, and so it's very important to have them balanced, because we don't want too much of one and not enough of the other. Okay. Yeah. Because when you have too much of the feminine energy, you feel disconnected from your body, right? I had a meeting with a man one time, and he was a light worker like I am, and he goes, your soul, is not inside of you. And I said, I kind of feel that way. I feel disconnected. I feel like I'm not whole, right? And he was like, well, I'm going to bring that into you. So have you guys ever heard of soul retrievals? Yeah. And he did that. He was like, okay, I'm going to bring your soul into you like this, right? And I could actually feel it coming into my heart. I'm like, oh, here it is right here. So I grabbed a hold of it and I brought it in to myself. And he goes, I've never had anyone do that before. And I said, what? He says, no one has actually brought in their own soul into themselves. He says, I've always had to do it. And I've only ever done maybe 2 or 3. He said, because a lot of people aren't ready, right? So, yeah, so if you feel disconnected, you feel like you're not in your own body. Some people feel that way. Yeah, so it just means that your soul is outside. It's not connected to you. So that's what a wounded feminine is, right? So when we have a feeling of not being good enough, right? So a wounded feminine is we get all this trauma going on, right? And so, of course, people pleasing is one of them, right? Always trying to make sure everybody is happy, everybody is, good, and you're always leaving us behind, right? We're always the last person to ever look after ourselves. And I keep telling people, who is the most important person in your life? If your whole world was falling apart, who is that one person that is the most important person in your whole life? That is you. You are. Because when you're sick, what happens? Right? No one's going to look after the kids. No one's going to look after the house. No one's going to pay the bills. No one's going to, go to work for you when you're sick. Right? So it's so important for us to look after ourselves. Right? And to make us a part of, our self-care and to love ourselves enough to be able to do that. Right? Because people pleasing, we're just like, oh, well, no, it's okay. We'll look after him first and then we'll look after us. And sometimes it don't work that way, right? No, it doesn't. We're always over giving, right? Have you guys ever had that before? Yeah. Even at Christmas time, right? People are always over giving their gifts. We're getting more stressed out. And with the economy right now, it's not a very good idea. But the only thing that really gets me at holidays is being with my kids. As long as my kids are here with me, we have one meal. That's all I ask is one meal, right? Because they're busy. They have lives too. They have in-laws. They have family, But as long as they give me one day, one meal, and I'm happy, right? So anybody like that too? Yeah. You feel guilty and ashamed, right? So when we are too much in our feminine energy, we do feel guilty about this stuff, right? We're exhausted from overworking. I suffered from burnout twice. Twice, guys. The first time I had adrenal fatigue and my back ached so bad that I could not move. And, I have a strenuous job where I look after people in their homes too, right? On top of what I'm doing here within my business. And, and if you can't roll somebody or if you can't move them around or help them up, if your back is hurting, it's not good. It's not fun. So my adrenal fatigue was so bad that I couldn't even move. I had to use a hot water bottle. I practically had it strapped to me. That's how bad it was. And I went to the doctor and I said, I have adrenal fatigue. I said, what is there that I can do for that? And he says, that's not a diagnosis. He says, I've never heard tell of adrenal fatigue. That is not a medical issue. And I was like, well, it sure in the hell feels like it does, right? Has anyone ever had that before? Yeah, it's not pleasant at all. And thank God that I have an amazing friend who is, she's a personal trainer and she also is into holistic foods and medicines and things like that. So I asked her, I'm like, my back is killing me. I know it's adrenal fatigue. I said, what can I do? What can I do to help it? And she told me to take this supplement, this herbal supplement. And you know what? Within 2 weeks, it was gone. Right? I suffered all that long time. And the doctor told me that it wasn't a medical diagnosis, but with 2 weeks after taking this herbal remedy, it was gone. And I haven't had it since. But I always got burned out. I had left my first job when I was going to work. I used to drive a big, huge red half-ton truck to work. And I was going to my first client. And there was this truck, 18-wheeler coming towards me in the middle of the road. And I was like, oh, shoot, right? What am I going to do? Because there was no way I can get around him. There was no way he didn't even see me. And I don't know how he could not see me, but he could not see me at all. And, and I was at that point in my life where I was like, I give up, right? I'm burned out. I'm tired. I'm just, my self-esteem was so low. I had no boundaries. And I was like, if I'm going to meet my maker, today's the day. And, I put my foot on the gas and I don't remember a thing. It was like a total blank until I looked in my driver's side mirror and the truck was behind me. He was still in the middle of the road, but he was behind me. Now, how I get around that thing or through it or over it or under it, I have no idea. No idea how that happened. So I knew that I was here for a reason. So I quit my job. I took a year off, got figured out. And then I started doing this. And this is my passion. And I love doing this. And watching my clients learn and grow and be able to live their lives the way they always wanted. Watching them say, you know what I did today, right? Because they're so excited about being able to do the things they've always wanted to do, but never had the faith to do it, right? So this is here I am. This is how I am right now, right? So don't give up, okay? You may be exhausted. You may be overworked. You may have your trouble with your boundaries. And, I was that way too. I really was. And, but you need to keep going, right? There is hope out there. And I'm telling you this because I know there's a lot of women out there who was just like me. They've just had it at their wits' end. They're ready to pull their hair out and, just to quit and leave everything, right? That's how people get into addictions. People get into these toxic relationships, they get into people that aren't good for them, right? They get into this bad, negative, toxic energy, right? So if you guys are in that energy, that wounded feminine energy, okay, let me know. Give me a call, okay, and say, look, this is how I'm feeling. Can you tell me what's going on, right? So just give me a call, okay, and I can tell you what exactly is going on, okay? So these are the differences between the feminine, the good feminine energy and the wounded feminine energy. So if you guys feel any of these, put hashtag call in the comments and I can help you out with that, okay? And if you want the replays for these, put hashtag replay and I can give you the masculine one from last week and the feminine one from this week, and come back again next week because we're going to balance these energies out, okay? And we're going to find some signs and symptoms and some tricks to learn how to do that and say, okay, this is how come, this is what's happening, so I must be too much into this. Or, okay, I'm not having this happening, so I need to up this, right? So come on back in next week at the same time. It's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. my time, Atlantic time. So I'll see you guys all next week. I know these are all short and sweet, but so they're pretty cool and they're pretty interesting. So have a great night. I'll see you guys all next week, and stay in your feminine.